Good evening. It is indeed a Friday night. I trust you had a lovely day. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Channel 1 Weekend. My name is Jacky, Wambiru. Sign language interpreter tonight is Lucy Mora. We have a comprehensive bulletin lined up. For now, let's take a look at the highlights. The 2022 general election in jeopardy. IEBC moves to Court of Appeal to stay part of High Court ruling on BBI bill.
I, Martha Karambu Kome, Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, do swear in the name of the Almighty God, so help me God.
Vowing to uphold judicial independence, Chief Justice Martha Koome takes oath of office promising fidelity to the rule of law.
Sisi hatumpatii mamlaka ya kuwa president. Muturi tutampatia mamlaka ya kuwa spokesman wa Mount Kenya.
And storm in the mountain. Saturday crowning of Speaker Justin Muturi as Central Kenya spokesman triggers supremacy contest. Welcome to the broadcast. Remember, this is an interactive segment. You can reach us on all social media handles at KBC Channel 1 or at Jacky. Now, to kick us off, Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has filed an application in the Court of Appeal seeking to stay part of the orders issued by the High Court rendering the BBI bill unconstitutional. The electoral body in its appeal is warning that if the decision by the High Court is left to stay, then the 2022 general election, which is 14 months away, and a number of scheduled by-elections are all in jeopardy.
In the appeal lodged by lawyer Eric Gumbo, the electoral body IEBC claimed the effects of the orders issued by the High Court will cripple its operations and even put in doubt the 14-month-away general election, something it argues that could plunge the country into unprecedented constitutional crisis. The electoral body argues that it's expected to undertake certain fundamental preparatory works towards the 2022 general election, which are barely 14 months away, and the whole process will be thrown into confusion and the general election compromise are rendered impossible as by law provide if the prayers are not granted. IEBC is seeking the Court of Appeal orders to stay the execution of the judgment or, in the overtentative issue, interim preservatory orders against the taking effect of the judgment that it lacks requisite quorum to carry out its constitutional mandate under the 2010 Constitution, pending the hearing of the appeal. IEBC is only concerned on specific areas touching on its mandate in the ruling and warns that there are currently ongoing and impending by-elections whose timelines are cast in stone and constitutional crises will ensue unless urgent intervention is availed by the Court of Appeal. For Channel 1 News, I'm Serafina Roby.
In other news, 3 police officers have been killed and 3 others are nursing serious wounds after they were ambushed by Al-Shabaab militia at Banissa area of Mandera County along the Kenya-Somalia border. The attack took place early Friday morning and the militia is said to have used an improvised explosive device to lay a trap on the officers before carrying out the ambush. Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome says upholding the independence of the judiciary is at the top of her agenda, even as she focuses on ironing out the myriad challenges weighing down the judiciary. She spoke moments after she was sworn in as the country's top judge, becoming the first female to ascend to that office.
I, Martha Karambu Koome, Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya
Friday, the 21st of May, will go down the annals of history as the day the country saw into office the first female Chief Justice.
So help me God.
I, Ouko William Okello, Judge of the
Justice
Supreme
William Okello Ouko was also sworn in as a judge of the Supreme Court at the ceremony presided over by the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Anne Atieno Amadi.
So help me God.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, while witnessing the swearing-in event, expressed confidence in the two to dispense justice without fear or favor.
To be the first president to swear in the first female Chief Justice with a view of upholding the dignity and the respect for the judiciary and the judicial system of Kenya and promoting fairness, independence, competence, and integrity within it.
The two would later head to the Supreme Court, where the Chief Justice was ushered into office by the Judicial Service Commission, the Deputy Chief Justice, the Judiciary Chief Registrar, as well as judges and magistrates.
So here we are. Please join me in welcoming to the Judiciary of Kenya not only the 15th Chief Justice of the Republic, but the First Lady Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya.
But the task ahead is enormous. We in the Commission are absolutely confident that we have what it takes to drive the judiciary forward.
We want to thank particularly the Court of Appeal, where we cut our teeth, me and Lady Justice Kome, our colleagues in that court, and we pray that you get another president.
We were classmates. He was my boss, the president of the Court of Appeal. We competed for the same position, and we kept on encouraging and cheering one another that we are in a friendly match. This is a lesson politicians need to learn from us.
Being the first woman in history to be the Chief Justice of Kenya, Justice Kome acknowledged the historic milestone.
This is indeed a momentous occasion that is witnessed by many with joy and hope. Not only because I'm the first woman in Kenya to take this oath of office, but because every time a member of the marginalized group breaks the barrier, they own a space for the dreams and hopes of others. As the Deputy President of the United States, Kamala Harris, said, I am the first, but certainly not the last.
The new Chief Justice also highlighted the need for addressing matters bedeviling the judiciary.
The executive has a duty to ensure budgetary allocations that supports the functions of the judiciary, to ensure that we get the support necessary for the court orders to be obeyed and implemented, that the investigations and prosecution of cases are undertaken efficiently.
Justice Kome also pointed out the importance of upholding judicial independence.
To state that the independence of the judiciary in decision-making, and as stated in the oath that I and my brother have taken today, cannot be interfered with.
This has been occasioned following the retirement of Chief Justice Emeritus David Kenani Maraga in early January upon attaining the retirement age of 70 years. Well, with her entry already full, the 15th Chief Justice of Kenya, the third under the 2010 Constitution, and the historical First Lady Chief Justice of Kenya, Martha Harambe Starlets, will now take her instruments of power come Monday the 24th of May and continue with her dispensation of justice expeditiously without fear or favor. For Channel 1 News from the Supreme Court of Kenya, I'm Serafina Robbie.
Well, it is indeed the rise of a new era. In a separate matter, governors have termed as a mere witch hunt Monday's impeachment of Mohamed Abdi Mohamud as Wajir governor. Through the Council of Governors, the county chiefs now want to be enjoined in the case of the ousted governor who has filed in the Court of Appeal. Gladys Mungai with more details.
Days after the impeachment of Wajir Governor Mohamed Mohamud, the Council of Governors has registered its concerns over what it terms as a worrying appetite to impeach county bosses. Governors who claim allegations against the now ousted Wajir Governor did not warrant for his removal from office are now seeking to be enjoined in his appeal case to shield themselves from what they term as political witch hunt.
The Council is resolving to follow the Wajir case so that the issue of the threshold comes out clearly, because what we are seeing over the period is the threshold for governors is becoming lower and lower and lower for impeachment of governors.
According to the governors, oversight bodies must be cognizant of the legal principles surrounding the impeachment so that the exercise is not abused. The council has also called upon the Minister of Health and the USAID to immediately procure third-party agent to distribute HIV and AIDS as well as tuberculosis drugs that are stuck at the port to all the counties before the 20th of June 2021.
Both the national government and the county governments should have a candid conversation around how the country can move towards self-reliance in the purchase of HIV and TB drugs. In the long term, both levels of government need to discuss sustainable HIV interventions and how we can reduce dependence on donors on such critical matters.
In realization of the universal health care, county bosses say they have reviewed the list of NHIF contracted health facilities from all the 47 counties and will forward the same to NHIF to ensure they are contracted in the exercise that is set to begin on the 1st of July 2021.
County governments have reviewed the list of NHIF contracted health facilities with a view to verify that indeed they are county facilities, as well as updating the existing list to include new facilities which were unlisted within NHIF.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
And in the political arena, the planned coronation of Speaker Justin Muturi as the Mount Kenya kingpin has kicked off a supremacist storm in the region. Sharp differences between Mount Kenya East and West have emerged over political dominance in the region, with some section of leaders vowing to block the event from taking place. Muturi will be canonized as the new spokesperson of Mount Kenya on Saturday.
The grounds at the Mukoro wa Nyagathanga, the shrine believed to be the original home of the Agikoyo. Tents being erected in last-minute preparations for a crowning ceremony slated for tomorrow. National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, the man of the moment, set to be crowned as the Mount Kenya region political spokesman. Muturi has been on seclusion for the last 1 week. But politics of dominance between Mount Kenya West and East are threatening to taint the high-octane event. And while Muturi appears to have the backing of the Embu Council of Elders and the Njuri Ncheke in Meru, the Kikuyu Council of Elders is split right in the middle on the planned exercise.
Kama wengine apatii yao heshima, yetu tunaipatia heshima. Na mtu akijaribu kwenda pale, atapatwa na mambo mabaya sana.
Mlima wa Mount Kenya ni moja. Na huo mlima wa Mount Kenya kiongozi wetu ni Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
Mimi mwenyewe nilijitolea na nikapigia Muturi mwenyewe simu na tukaongea na nikamweleza kama kitu haija kubaliwa na kila mtu akae kado kidogo mpaka watu wasikizane.
We as Kikuyu Council of Elders, we are not party to what is going on or what is likely to be taking place in Mukoro wa Nyagathanga tomorrow. But one thing we would want to say is that Mukoro wa Nyagathanga is our shrine. It's not a political arena.
Sisi hatumpatii mamlaka ya kuwa president. Muturi tutampatia mamlaka ya kuwa spokesman wa Mount Kenya.
This is the final journey of 3 stages of installing Muturi as a speaker. There is no coronation. We are not making a king because our people want somebody who can negotiate for them.
The political leadership in the region equally split.
Let me tell you, my brother Muturi, you are my good speaker. Umemaliza miaka yako. Maliza good finishing here 10 years. We want you. You can be running it. You can be anything in this country. I agree with that. But not with the elders. Wale nimekuona ukiwa nao na Kagwanja.
While Agriculture CS Peter Munya is opposed to Muturi's coronation, his political rival in Meru County, Governor Kiraitu Murungi, holds that Muturi is the right man for the job.
We in Mount Kenya East have supported our brothers from the west of the mountain for many, many years. I don't think it is asking too much for us to ask them now to support one of us, who is immensely qualified, for that. So I'll cast my lot with Muturi. I'll support him, and I'll also look for my colleagues, the governors from the rest of Mount Kenya region, to support him.
On the other hand, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, in her Twitter account today, appeared to downplay Muturi's coronation as of no political significance. Murang'a County Governor Mwangi wa Iria, in whose county the shrine is said to be opposed to the coronation and plans to block the venue.
And on matters related to the coronavirus, the government has put on notice individuals believed to be cashing in on the desperation of Kenyans seeking the COVID-19 vaccine. The government says the COVID-19 vaccine is free and no Kenyan should be compelled to pay to receive the jab. On Friday, the Ministry of Health announced that plans are at an advanced stage to procure 30 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to ensure at least 60% of Kenyans are vaccinated by June 2022.
The government says there will be no peddling of the COVID-19 vaccine, warning Kenyans against being duped into buying the jab. The Ministry of Health on Friday said all is being done to ensure there is enough vaccine to inoculate 60% of Kenyans by June 2022. The government is looking to import 130,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine through COVAX facility and another 30 million doses from Johnson & Johnson. Kenya has in the meantime recorded 659 new COVID-19 cases from 7,962 samples tested in the last 24 hours. The figures released on Friday represent a positivity rate of 8.3%. Nairobi recorded the highest number of new cases with 97, followed by Mombasa with 86, Bungoma 65, Busia 53, Siaya 39, and Kisumu 36 cases. 3 new COVID-19 related deaths were reported Friday. Meanwhile, Kisumu Governor Professor Anyang' Nyong'o has moved to allay fears over an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in the county ahead of Madaraka Day celebrations. Governor Nyong'o says the situation is under control and thus there should be no cause for alarm.
While Kisumu, just like other counties in Kenya, faces tough challenges in kicking out the stubborn virus, it is important to confirm that the COVID-19 Indian variant has been tamed and subdued.
Weekly for Cage, Channel 1 News.
Still on matters held, the government says Kenya cannot afford a polio crisis in the middle of the global COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking during the launch of polio vaccination campaign in Garissa, Head of Public Health, Dr. Francis Correa, said the government is targeting some 3.4 million children spread across 13 counties in the exercise.
The exercise, which is a rapid intervention to improve population immunity against polio, is targeting high-risk regions.
For 5 days, 3 million children in 13 counties will be receiving the vaccine in order to help safeguard their lives, health, and their futures.
Tafadhali wananchi mpeleke watoto wapate chanjo ya polio.
Director of Public Health Francis Correa says the country cannot afford the polio crisis in the middle of yet another crisis brought about by COVID-19.
We cannot afford a crisis, especially at this time when we are still fighting corona. So let us take this campaign very, very seriously to avert any crisis that can emanate from this new few cases that we have identified. And we have been notified here that the 3 cases identified in Garissa, for example, may mean 100,000 more may be at risk within this county.
Polio is a virus that may cause paralysis where no cure exists for the symptoms and is easily preventable by the polio vaccine. Kenya recently discovered the presence of polio in the country, prompting the government to embark on the vaccination campaign. For Channel 1 News, I'm Jacqueline Masharia.
Well, that report by Jacqueline Masharia brings us to our first break here on Channel 1 Weekend. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Did you know life is uncertain? Do not leave anything to chance. Protect the financial needs of your family in case you die or lose income due to terminal or critical illness. Take up a life insurance policy today to protect the financial future of your loved ones. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I am Loteni now. Atito, I am never coming to clean your house again. You can now clean your smelling in gym clothes, you are smelling in bathroom, you are smelling kitchen, you are smelling everything.
Shut up! Or better off, you better let me know tomorrow so that I can bring you women clothing. You join the women's club. You win.
Julia. Julia.
Amo.
You win. Now, this thing needs patience and precision. When you go in too fast, of course, you will get tired very easily.
Too much speaking. Where are we going to get the and show us the action?
They say kutembea kwingi kuona mengi.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Next on.
What happened from there? Niliweza kupelekwa theater. Nikakatwa mguu. Ambayo ni painful sana. Juu sikuamini.
So I was that type of a girl. Of course I was always gloomy, you know. You are never happy, you know. You're not yourself. You don't know what is happening to you.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Welcome back. Now let's proceed. Migori County Governor Okoth Obado has been barred by the High Court from selling, charging, leasing or developing property named Loresho Ridge House pending the hearing and determination of a case filed by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Judge James Kiaga has also barred the governor from disposing of 3 high-end cars pending hearing and determination of the case.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is looking to recover some 73 million shillings allegedly misappropriated by the Migori governor. EACC had sought orders to have Obado, his 4 children enjoined in a suite, seeking to recover the monies it says were stolen by the accused through fictitious or irregular contracts. Judge James Wakiaga has to that effect ordered the governor to stay any transaction Loresho Ridge House and 3 high-end cars pending hearing and determination of the case. Meanwhile, the High Court in Mombasa on Friday dismissed a petition filed by former Chief Executive Officer of Coast Water Works Development Agency to have its contract extended. The agency had last year in May extended Kimutai Road's contract by 1 year after serving initial 3 years, though the former CEO wanted an extension of 3 years. Timothy Kipnusu, Channel 1 News.
And on environmental matters, the Kenya Forest Service has partnered with 15 counties to put to use at least 100 hectares of land to plant bamboo trees as part of ongoing efforts to conserve water and soil in the country. Kenya Forest Service Chief Conservator of Forest Julius Kamau says the initiative will also complement the current countrywide tree planting campaign. Kenya Forest Service Chief Conservator of Forest Julius Kamau says the country has stepped up efforts to increase the current forest cover from 7.2% to 10%.
Actually be able to rehabilitate this area, about 10 hectares here with bamboo, but we'll be doing another 100 hectares to rehabilitate with the bamboo. As you know, the importance of bamboo is purely conservation, and we want to conserve our forests.
Kamau stated that some counties with favorable climate have surpassed the 10% tree cover, while those with harsh climatic conditions are being helped to meet the target.
The forest adjacent community become our first ambassadors for conservation. And without their support, it's difficult for Kenya Forest Service to achieve its goal. And that's why through this program, we have gone ahead in terms of supporting the communities, in terms of livelihood improvement. Because even on their farmland, we are supporting them to grow trees, fruit trees, woodlot, to improve their economic livelihood. If they do have an improved livelihood, then there is less dependency on forest resources. And not only about trees, because they will plant a tree today, but before you benefit from the tree is about 5 years. Between now and then, what are they going to be doing? And therefore, we have come up with very many income-generating activities, including, apiary, including fish keeping, so that they have somewhere they can go to.
Bamboo plays an important role in the environment by helping lower the light intensity and protect against ultraviolet rays. Bamboo development also reduces up to 35% carbon monoxide in the climate and delivers more oxygen. While assessing the vegetation cover at Njokeni Forest in Mwea Sub-County, Kamau urged the public to embrace opportunities and the interventions put in place to increase forest cover. He added that over 10 million shillings has been set aside to support income-generating activities that are aimed at conserving the environment.
We have supported them to invest in fish rearing. They have the tilapia, they have the catfish, and they even have the aesthetic.
Elsewhere, residents living along the Voi River in Taita Taveta County have been urged to be environmental champions and engage in frequent tree planting.
Juu ya upandaji wa miti na vile tunatakiwa tufanye na zile miti tunatakiwa tupande ndio tuweze kufikisha lengo la Kenya la kupata 10% tree cover by the year 2022, kwa sababu hiyo ndio malengo ya serikali.
Taita Taveta Ecosystem Conservator Charles Courier says it is paramount to plant more trees, especially on riverbanks where activities such as sun harvesting are threatening to inflict irreversible damage.
Ni mtu wa maana sana katika kaunti yetu, lakini hata mkiangalia mnaona ni kama mazingira kidogo inaharibika. The river basin ama the riverine, hapo unakuta miti imekatwa ama pengine ni bushes zimemea, na tunataka kuhifadhi ndio maji yenye inatirika kwa hiyo mto iwe ni maji safi na iweze kufikia watu wengi.
Nine counties have signed contracts that will allow research scientists from the National Museums of Kenya access information and material from herbalists across the country. The initiative, which focuses on traditional medicines, aims at empowering communities by harnessing indigenous knowledge and creating job opportunities.
Speaking in Embu, where the signing took place, Dr. Tunga Nyacheo, the chief of the Research Institute of Primate Research at National Museums of Kenya, said the prior informed consent by herbalists would enable the natural product industry access herbal products from herbalists.
Currently, we are struggling with the coronavirus, and through the initiative of the government, we are trying to reach traditional herbalists, because the fight against the coronavirus, we have to fight it from all ways. We know vaccines are coming, but also we are we are trying to access herbal products so that we can also use them as remedies against this coronavirus.
Dr. Nyacheo further observed that the government, through the Natural Products Industry Initiative at the National Museums of Kenya, will empower communities by harnessing indigenous knowledge, adding that herbalists have for a long time remained unrecognized.
For many years, we know the communities have indigenous knowledge on issues of herbal products, and the government has realized that we can harness this potential and transform it to an industry.
The counties that have signed the contract include Kakamega, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, Murang'a, Bungoma, Siaya, and Taita Taveta. For Channel One News, I'm Jacqueline Masharia.
In other news, President Uhuru Kenyatta on Friday commissioned operational vehicles and engineering equipment refurbished by the Kenya Defence Forces technical team. Speaking during the launch at Thika Barracks, President Kenyatta commended the KDF for its ingenuity and a high sense of civic duty. The president noted that the rehabilitation of the vehicles has saved the Kenyan taxpayer billions of shillings, as well as significantly enhanced KDF's operational capabilities.
The head of state said the engineering vehicles and equipment will also boost KDF's ability to support civil and humanitarian activities across the country, such as construction of dams, water ponds, boreholes and roads, particularly in arid and semi-arid regions.
The fleet that we commissioned today is the product of ingenuity as well as a high sense of civic duty. The team, on the one hand, that was tasked with the restoration exercise has given life to what many thought was dead, bringing back into operation equipment that had otherwise been written off.
The equipment you have launched today forms a force multiplier in increasing our service delivery to the people of Kenya.
The KDF is fully seized on its mandate and will continue to be seized on its mandate of protection of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Kenya.
The provision of this equipment will also ensure that Kenya Army and Kenya Defence Forces at large matches its equipment capability with the global security trends.
The president acknowledging the partnership between KDF and the private sector in conceptualizing the procurement of the vehicles and equipment in the spirit of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, lauding the Ministry of Defence, KDF and the private sector for supporting the manufacturing component of the Big Four agenda.
A vibrant manufacturing base within the private sector provides the impetus for national self-reliance, and I commend the Ministry of Defence, the Kenya Defence Forces, and the private sector for supporting the manufacturing component of the Big Four agenda.
He also commended military engineers and technicians who, with the multi-agency framework, have continued to prove themselves as efficient and reliable drivers of change. To safeguard KDF's achievements, President Kenyatta encouraged the military to embrace a culture where drivers of innovation are continually motivated, assuring that his administration will continue to provide support to KDF and other security agencies toward the attainment of the highest level preparedness and mission readiness.
I also continue to challenge you to embrace innovation and technical proficiency in order to spur Kenya's industries and develop homegrown solutions to our needs.
With the launch of the KDF operational vehicles and engineering equipment, President Uhuru Kenyatta is calling on Kenyans and the troops not to lower their guard to ensure that our borders remain secured at all times. Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Now, police in Trans Nzoia have arrested a middle-aged man suspected to have defiled a 14-year-old girl in Maridadi area of Kwanza constituency. Kwanza OCPD James Odera said the suspect attacked the Class 5 girl on her way from school and left her bleeding.
A family in Maridadi area in Kwanza, Trans Nzoia County, is demanding justice after their 14-year-old daughter was allegedly defiled by a 30-year-old man.
Nikamuuliza alikuwa anafanya nini, alipiga yako nduru, nikanyamaza. Alafu saa kidogo akatoka akimwaga damu. Mimi nikauliza akakijana kangu, naitwa Asley. Nikamuuliza Asley, baba, alikuwa anatokea side gani? Akaniambia alikuwa anatokea huku. Akifanya nini akimwaga damu.
Kwanza OCPD James Odera said the suspect brutally defiled the Class 5 girl while on her way home from school.
Na mimi nawaonya wale wazazi watapatikana watoto yao wamenajisiwa na bado wanakaa chini wakifanya negotiation ili kesi isiendelee. Wao pia watachukuliwa hatua kali na tuwapeleke kotini wasitakiwe kama wale wametenda hicho kitendo.
Elsewhere, police officers in Kajiado County are investigating rampant cases of livestock theft in the area. For the last 2 months, herders have allegedly lost more than 500 livestock in what residents say is a well-orchestrated scheme.
Kuna walifu walishikwa jana, kufikishwa hapa na si polisi walishika, ni sisi raia tulishika. Kufikishwa mahali hapa kuamka tukaambiwa mwizi ametoweka. Sasa sisi tunashindwa, kama mwizi anatoweka kwa mikono ya polisi, tutakimbilia nani?
Meanwhile, experts say that cases of acute malnutrition in Soin Kericho County has pushed residents to practice early marriages, denying children some much-needed education. The obtaining situation has prompted the government and development partners to launch necessary intervention programs to reverse the trend.
First of all, we measured a growth monitoring. By growth monitoring, we measure the ECD teachers have been trained, now can measure weight and height, and they are practicing it at ECD centers every term or regularly. Then if there is a malnourished or at-risk children identified, we will link to the area CHARs or CHVs and for any further interventions.
In Kiambu County, a mother in Thika Town has given birth to quadruplets, the first ever at the Thika Level 5 Hospital Reproductive Health Unit. The birth came as a surprise to the mother of 4, who believed she was expecting triplets. 25-year-old Maxine Nyawera, now a mother of 5, is calling on well-wishers to support her in raising her newborns.
Niko na mtoto mmoja, Julai atafikisha 5 years. Cha niseme so far sina, juu hatukuwa tumejipanga hivyo. Kani kulala, nyumba ni ya kukomboa, maziwa hivyo, juu mimi sitokangi maziwa. So tuseme sina mipango eni, lakini if there is something you can do, naomba tumnisaidie na tuseme kama maziwa ya formula.
Beatrice Gatonyengetich, Channel 1 News.
And in the business world, Liquid Telecom has unveiled its new identity, Liquid Intelligent Technologies, in a multi-pronged expansion strategy in Africa. The company plans to invest billions of shillings in expanding cloud business, cybersecurity services, and other technologies. Liquid Telecom currently offers cloud computing, fiber internet, and data center services in 13 African countries.
Adil El Yousefi, CEO for Liquid Intelligent Technologies East Africa, says the change of name to Liquid Intelligent Technologies shows the firm's intentions to expand its cloud business, cybersecurity services, and other technologies added to its existing telecoms and connectivity capability.
In full alignment with the Book 4 agenda and Vision 2030, which the Kenyan government has set for itself, we want to stand ready to work with the Kenyan government to actually better the life of the Kenyan citizens, to ensure that industrialization is accelerated.
Ensure that our knowledge, our data is stored carefully, is managed carefully, but that can also be used commercially to ensure that as a country we get the revenues that are needed, we grow with our intelligence, and at the same time with the patenting and other regulations that we put in place, we can ensure we benefit as we continue.
Liquid Intelligent Technologies will also expand its managed services offering to drive and ensure successful adoption of tools to reimagine their customers' businesses and how they work and connect. Early this year, Liquid Telecoms raised 63 billion shillings from the bond sale to help it in the rollout of more products on the African continent. The International Finance Corporation estimates that the African digital economy is expected to be worth $180 billion by 2025.
To see that growth of our sectors is going to be it's going to be private sector driven, and we ensure that the policies that are required to move forward are in place.
Adil says the rebrand will further create recognition with local businesses that they provide digital solutions in addition to the usual connectivity services, enabling them to accelerate their digital transformation. The company, which operates a 73,000-kilometer fiber network, says it wants to expand its cloud business, cybersecurity services and other technologies to its existing telecoms and connectivity capability.
The government has started implementing the 15 billion shillings Kenya Offgrid solar access project in Samburu County. The funds will go towards standalone solar systems and clean cooking solutions for households. The program is aimed at expanding clean cooking solutions to communities living away from the national electricity connections.
The government is now calling on the private sector to submit proposals for the testing and subsequent supply of clean cooking stoves. Deputy Director at the Department of Renewable Energy, Dr. Shadrack Kipkemoi, said that manufacturers who meet the standards of cooking stoves required will be supported to produce more than 90,000 units.
This testing is to come up with, we see which one is now meeting the standards, because we have some international standards. We also have local standards on the efficiency of the cook stoves.
Of the 15 billion shillings, 4.8 is said to go towards standalone solar systems and clean cooking solutions for households. Currently, the project has kicked off testing for cook stoves and clean cooking technologies in Samburu County.
The reason why we are pushing on these cook stoves, because apart from what you have just said about benefits to the consumers, it's also very good to the environment, because of most of them are, we used to call them kunimbili. So you can actually use 2 pieces of wood and you cook lunch for your family.
14 different types of clean cooking stoves from different manufacturers were lit at the same time to cook the same type and quantity of rice using new modern jikos as compared to the ones used at home, as the government ramps up the project to other counties.
After the testing, there is a process where there is analysis done and the consumer acceptance and all that is evaluated. The important thing to highlight is, once the stoves are tested here, does not mean that the project will promote them. We first of all have to receive business proposals from the companies to show that they have the correct business models to sell the products in the market.
The Ministry of Energy plans to eliminate dirty cooking technologies in Kenya that are blamed for many cases of lung diseases. Alan Auko, Channel 1 Business.
Farmers in the North Rift have been urged to maximize their income by planting and cultivating high-value crops. Uasin Gishu County Deputy Governor Daniel Chemno said coffee, macadamia and avocado are among crops that fetch higher returns on the international markets.
Traditional maize growing in the North Rift has turned to be a big challenge to farmers because they largely rely on government subsidies to purchase farm inputs or sell their produce.
Hii crops ambayo sisi kama serikali ya kaunti tunahimiza: kahawa, macadamia, avocado na passion. Hiyo ni vitu ambayo itabadilisha maisha yetu forever.
Speaking while distributing free seedlings to farmers at Kapsoret in Uasin Gishu County, the Deputy Governor Daniel Chemno told the farmers to cultivate high-value crops in order to maximize their income.
Sehemu za macadamia tunaenda kupeana 3,795 katika hii sub-county. Pia ndizi wali request takriban miche 10,000 kati ya ile 20,000 tulisource. Hiyo inaonyesha bidii ya wakulima katika sehemu hii.
Uasin Gishu County Executive for Agriculture, Samuel Yego, said the number of farmers requesting for promotional crops seedlings is gradually rising.
The amount of seedlings ambayo tunawapatia wakulima inatoshana na ile ya hiyo miaka yote ambayo tumewapatia.
A kilogram of coffee nuts trades between 500 shillings and 600 shillings, while macadamia going for between 120 shillings and 130 shillings. The county government started rolling out the diversification program in 2017 as a way to uplift economic status of its county residents by making agriculture a profitable venture. Farmers from Kapsoret sub-county got 10,560, 3,785 and 27,000 tissue culture, bananas, macadamia and coffee seedlings respectively.
The U.S. Treasury Department yesterday offered to accept a global minimum corporate tax of at least 15% during international negotiations. The department said the proposal was made during an Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development tax steering group meeting on base erosion and profit shifting. Details of these and other stories on our international business roundup.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen first proposed a 21% U.S. corporate minimum tax in April as part of President Joe Biden's $2.2 trillion infrastructure spending proposal, which will be financed largely by increasing the U.S. corporate tax rate to 28%. The Biden administration's proposed a 21% rate was widely viewed as a starting point for renewed Organization for Economic Cooperation Development talks on a global minimum tax, a level that has been backed by France and Germany, with other countries pushing for a lower rate. A U.S. Treasury official said the Biden administration will continue to advocate for the highest rate possible, above 15%, adding that the offer does not alter the 21% proposed U.S. minimum tax. Elsewhere, some Chinese government officials have been told not to park Tesla's car on government premises due to security concerns about the camera attached to the vehicle. People said officials from at least 2 government agencies in Beijing and Shanghai were verbally instructed by supervisors not to park Tesla's electric cars at work. Sensors and cameras that can assist the driving function of many automakers' vehicles, but those who are aware of this issue said the restrictions currently apply only to Tesla vehicles. In March, Tesla's vehicles were banned from entering several military installations in China, citing security concerns about the vehicle's cameras. Automakers like Tesla are equipping more cars with cameras and sensors that capture images of the surroundings of the car. Controlling how these images are used while where they are transmitted and stored is a rapidly emerging challenge for industries and regulators around the world. Finally, Apollo Global Management said that the co-founder, Joshua Harris, has decided to step down from his day-to-day role, the latest in a series of governance changes at the private equity firm. Apollo said Harris will leave his role when the $11 billion all-stock merger with annuities provider Athene Holding Limited closes in the first quarter of next year. However, the firm said that Harris will retain his seat on Apollo's board and executive committee.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
this weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Kivipi? Mimi ni mtu mzima. Na maisha ambayo naishi pale nyumbani sijisikii kama niko comfortable. Babangu aliniahidi kitambo sana atanisaidia mimi kwa mambo mengine kutoboa life. Lakini hata moja hajanifanyia.
Mbona unisukuma hivyo lakini?
Tulia, mimi nishakwambia tulia.
Na tulia nini sasa? Mimi sija kufuata wewe, nimemfuata babako.
Hujui kama hapa ni mjini? Huyu akisema yuaniteleza, huyu nashika. Upo. Unalana.
Banki imeconfirm pesa zimeingia. Congratulations Sam, gari ni lako sasa.
Shukran. Oi boss, suniache insurance yako nitumie kabla nijipange.
Insurance ya gari haiwezi kuwa transferred kwa mtu mwingine.
Sina habari na nikuulize, hii comprehensive insurance inakava vitu gani?
Comprehensive motor insurance inakava gari linapoharibika wakati wa ajali pamoja na uharibifu wa mali ya mtu mwingine, gari likiibiwa au likichomeka. Pia inakava passenger wa gari lako na passenger wa lile gari lingine kunapotokea ajali.
Kwani umenisahau mimi kama driver?
Dereva hakui covered na comprehensive insurance, ila anajitafutia personal accident cover.
Umenichanua. Rose, hata nishughulikie hiyo insurance, nitakujia gari kesho.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
Welcome back. Now, in the sports arena, Tusker FC maintained the lead at the top of the FKF Premier League standings after battling to a 1-1 draw against hosts Wazito FC in a closely contested league match played at Tutali grounds. Sami Major opened the scoring for the Brewers in the 4th minute, while winger Kevin Kimani equalized for Wazito in the 20th minute. Tusker FC remain at the summit of the log with 35 points, 2 points ahead of second place KCB. AFC Leopards, Karibangi Sharks and Bandari FC complete the top 5 teams on the log. Vega United, Western Stima and Mathare United are the bottom place teams at position 15, 16 and 17 respectively. The national women's soccer team, Harambe Starlets, will begin its Africa Women's Cup of Nations 2022 qualifying campaign in October after Confederation of African Football announced new dates. Starlets is pitted against underdog South Sudan and was due to play the first leg in June, but will now face off in October.
The first leg pit in Harambe Starlets and South Sudan is scheduled between October 18th to 26th, while the second round matches are set for February 14th to 23rd, 2022. In its statement, CAF said condition of certain venues and COVID-19 restrictions had informed the postponement of the qualifiers. The aggregate winner over the 2 legs will advance to the second and final qualifying round of the finals, which will involve a total of 11 teams. Harambe Starlets will be looking to qualify for the Africans Women Cup of Nations for the second time after their 2016 appearance in Cameroon, where they exited the tournament at the group stage. The 2022 finals set for Morocco will see 3 top finishers earning automatic slots to represent Africa at the Women's World Cup finals in 2023 in Australia and New Zealand. 2 more slots will be earned through playoffs. Daniel Mwendwa for Channel 1 Sports.
Football Kenya Federation NEC member Nairobi Region Michael Ouma Majura on Friday presided over the closing ceremony of a 10-day CAF D coaching course at the Ligindogo grounds. The course was put up by Football Kenya Federation Nairobi West Branch in conjunction with Ligindogo and saw 40 participants under the tutelage of instructors George Mwangi and Leon Matthews, trained and duly certified. Nairobi began NEC member Michael Ouma Majura has applauded the former players who took part in the coaching course. Meanwhile, in Kakamega North, 36 coaches also completed a 10-day CAF D license coach course that was hosted at the Lumakanda Township under the Ministry of Sports and Kakamega County Government in conjunction with the FKF Kakamega branch with the aim of developing grassroots football. Former Arsenal and Crystal Palace striker Ian Wright says Chelsea could miss out on the Premier League top 4 despite being in a more comfortable position than Liverpool and Leicester City. Chelsea sit third in the table with only a 1-point cushion over both Liverpool and Leicester City heading into their final league match against Aston Villa this Sunday. For these and more, here is a look at the weekend sports diary.